Hey everybody, thank you for clicking on this video. Blessings to you. I am Letitia, a 42-year-old millennial, mom of five, an INFJ empath, progressive idealist, and intuitive. And what that means is, to make a long story short, is that I see the world differently. I absorb information differently. I absorb energy differently. And I am in the process really of learning how to navigate this very, very loud world that we're in right now, this very loud moment that we're in right now. Learning how to navigate and survive this moment as an intuitive, as somebody who absorbs energy around me. So, one of the easiest things to do for me during this time is just to shut things out, isolate myself, and hide away in my nice, comfortable home till whenever it's over. But I just feel like the reason that I can't do that, and I haven't been able to do that for the last 8 years, is because I know something, I feel something, I sense something. And I have had to teach myself, practice, and teach myself to come out of my introverted shell, learn the language, learn about these topics that I'm discussing, and figure out how to communicate what I see, what I understand, and try to paint a picture with my words, what I see in my head. And I've gotten really better at it, thank goodness, because I feel like now is the time more than ever for me to swim as opposed to sinking. If we're going to use an analogy of where I am at in this process, in this journey, I feel as someone who was just thrown into the water without prior lessons, while thrown into the ocean and just told to swim, even though I hadn't had lessons on how to swim. So I'm learning, I'm in the process of learning and understanding. But even as I'm learning and understanding, I already feel like I have a level of understanding and common sense that I have to speak up. I have to use my voice. And the self-doubt that I had is that my voice is not needed because it's so loud and nobody's going to listen to me. Now at this point, I don't care whether anybody listens to me or not. I'm going to shout it to, I'm just going to say it out loud. I'm going to say what I know, what I feel, what I see out loud, because I hear there's a lot of people talking and they're saying a lot of dumb shit, and I feel like if people that are saying dumb shit get to speak, then I get to speak. So I don't give a, whether or not people listen to me. I want people to listen to me, I want to be heard because I feel there's an urgency in what I have to say, but I'm going to just put it out there anyway. So before I had decided to record this video, my chest was tight. I was dealing with feeling anxious. I have been feeling anxious for the week, for the last 2 weeks. And I guess you could imagine why, for anybody who has been paying attention to the conversations and the loudness of the moment for the last 2 weeks. The mainstream media has been very abusive and bullying and forceful and determined and mean and unkind to people like me. People like me who know that the information that they're putting out is intellectually dishonest, that the narrative that they're pushing is intellectually dishonest. It is distracting. It is a disservice to people. And, it has been frustrating. It has been frustrating to go on all my feeds and see it continue and continue and continue. And, what I'm talking about, for anybody who is blissfully living in a state of unknowing, not knowing what's happening, I'm talking about the conversation of the narrative of forcing, pushing, bullying, whatever word you want to use, the incumbent President Biden, to resign because of using the his off night at the debates as an excuse to push that narrative, you know, and continue to push that narrative even long after he has said that he's not going anywhere, even long after the conversation needed to end. Part of my frustration is because the people that, you expected to be on your side and on your team, and to have his back, you know, you would expect to have his back, are some of the dumb people helping, assisting the media in continuing with this narrative. And I'm talking about Democratic politicians and some influencers, with their big platforms, who we have trusted to teach us stuff and to put us in the know, and to, that we believed that was on Team Democracy, and probably is still on Team Democracy or whatever, but, breaking the team apart, breaking the movement, whatever word we're going to use for it, this side apart and dividing us, and I'm also talking about, celebrities and people with again, big platforms and money and power. I have a small platform. I'm begging anybody who finds me, stumbles on me, to please continue to follow and support my videos, because even though I may not be one of the best, I'm getting better, but even though I may not be one of the best, my angle and my way of putting the information out will not stress you out. It will be calming, it will be truthful, and it will, point you in the right direction as to where to look, where to put your feelings, so I'm working on it, though. I'm working on getting better, so that I have more information to put across to you. So here's my thoughts in regards to the people that are asking Biden to step aside. One of the things that I have noticed about all these people, and the recent one is, I have to look up his name because I forgot. Senator Michael Bennet is the recent one that I saw that was on CNN, probably last night, this morning. I don't know. I didn't watch the clip. And we got Seth Moulton. We have Julian Castro. Seth Moulton is congressman from Massachusetts. Julian Castro, I think, is a senator or a congressman. I think he's a congressman from Texas. Let me look that up. Okay, so Julian Castro is former United States Secretary of Housing and and Urban Development. The one thing that I've noticed about people that have been pushing for Joe Biden to step aside, other than Julian Castro, the majority of them are white men. That is what I've noticed. And I don't know what is with the panic. I don't know what's with the freak out. I don't know what they're thinking. The other thing that I notice about a lot of these Democratic politicians that are, again, getting on CNN and whatever other news station, but mostly CNN is the main perpetrator, getting on CNN and, again, pushing this helping push this narrative, is that these are also men that ran against Joe Biden in 2020 in the presidential primary and got their ass kicked really, really badly. Okay, their percentages were very, very low. They did not do well in the Democratic presidential primaries. Joe Biden beat them, and Pete Buttigieg beat them, and so that says something. These men don't know as much as they think they know. They're very, very wrong. But the thing that annoys me about the Michael Bennet one is the Chiron that was on the clip that we've seen, is how he said he predicts that Biden will lose. And then we have Steve Schmidt, a former Republican strategist, right? I haven't been watching his videos, but again, he's been also pushing the narrative. He's been pushing it for a long time, and he's been losing that argument, pushing the narrative, that Joe Biden is not the right person. And he even was the one who I believe was the campaign manager for, or pushing that third party, one of the people that ran against him in the primary. Don't make me look up the name right now, but I'm pretty sure that he was the campaign manager, or had some part of that campaign of pushing, having somebody run against Biden. And again, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what's in their mind. I don't know about all that. But the thing is that you need to know is that the people that we should be listening to are with Biden. The women are with Biden. The young people, Gen Z, Gen Z influencers are with Biden. The Gen Z is with Biden, most of them. Obviously, not all of them, but a lot. Biden has Gen Z in his corner. Black people are with Biden. Again, not all of them, but the ones that I listen to, a lot of them are speaking out and they're saying they're with Biden. The voters are with Biden. I know because I have been getting on to some of these posts that has been pushing that narrative, and I've been speaking out and I've been saying I'm with Biden. I've been speaking out on Biden's behalf, on Biden's behalf, and the engagement and the likes that I get in my comments. And that's after reading through the comments and hearing what other people have to say, how they're responding to this narrative. And the majority of people responding to this narrative is no, we are sticking with Biden. We're going to vote for Biden. People are trying to be heard. Immigrants are trying to be heard. And also the older people who can understand and read this moment, understand where we are in this time in history, and how much the country is in danger of changing in such a drastic way that you're not going to make it to 250 years of democracy. Those people are sticking with Biden. And I may not know all the things I need to know about politics because it's very complicated. And like I said, I am already in the ocean trying to learn how to swim. But I am listening. I am listening. That's why I'm so tired, because I'm listening. I am reading. I am trying to understand, trying to learn. I'm hearing people and I'm listening. And I believe that all these people asking Joe Biden to step aside do not know what they're talking about. Even if they may have been successful in the past, they are not in touch with this moment. As an intuitive, I could tell you that this moment is not like any other moment that any of these people have ever experienced in their lifetime. It is new, it is different, and you need to listen to the people who are more in touch with the pulse of the people. And they're not doing that. They're stuck in their bubbles. They're stuck in their ego. They're stuck in their past. They're stuck in their fears and their panic and what they think they know. But what they think they know is what was relevant and what was effective in their time. This is a different time, and this is a different moment. And this is a time where we can actually look past the polls and actually listen to the people. The internet is going to tell you, right? Because before we used to say the internet is not the real world, but that is no longer true, because a lot of people are plugged in to their communities. So every person on the internet, every real person, and not a bot or a troll, every real person is connected to their community and connected to the reading where they are. So I am going to post this video on YouTube. So I'm going to continue even past the 15 minutes. But I'm just going to say right here that I'm heading into the 15 minutes. So when I post this on Instagram, this is where it's probably going to end. But you probably can see the longer video on YouTube, or I will share my link in the stories or whatever. You will probably be able to see the longer video in YouTube, or I would post the other part at a different time. So thank you for listening, and I will continue for a longer version for YouTube now. Right. So, one of the things that I have learned from listening to people that are more that are smarter than me and more educated than me in certain things is, first of all, I've learned about a brokered convention and what that is. So sort of like an open convention where they're now going to try to figure out who their nominee is. I think that that is such a bad idea for this moment because people don't really seem to understand what we are up against at this time. This is the people, we the people who are for democracy are up against a Goliath, a monster, a machine, something that has been in development for a very long time, over 50 years of planning and development and strategy. And this is their moment. This is their moment where the plan is going to, it is now or never. The plan is going to be implemented. The plan that they have worked so hard on for a long period of time. You know, the um, the grooming of people, the grooming of Christians, the preparation of turning the Christians and evangelicals like ants. You know that analogy, or that, yeah, the analogy where, I believe it's analogy. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Where the ants are heading, they're doing the job, they're doing the work, they're on the mission, and then somebody puts something in one of the ants' way and divert them in a different direction. And now the ants are heading in a different direction, but all the ants following that one ant that started to head in a different direction do not know that they're going the wrong way. That is what I believe is happening to evangelicals right now, is that they're going the wrong way and they're not listening to people who are telling them, you are going the wrong way. You are no longer fulfilling your purpose here. Loving your neighbor. You're not following Jesus. The idea of Jesus and what he stood for. You are going the wrong way. And you have lost a lot of people because of it. And that is fine, because sometimes things need to change because you're in a different time, and you gotta be able to shift and evolve and grow. You know what I mean? And this is why I believe that these people are wrong, because they're trying to keep us in the past and actually carry us back to the past. We are no longer in the past. The people of this generation do not think like previous generations. We don't want the same things. We're not interested in the same things. Our desire for our future is different. And I believe that older people who have had their season and their chance to shape the world how they want, they had their time. There need to be a support system now. They need to listen to younger people when they tell you that is not what we want, when they tell you who they are, when they tell you what we want for our world. So back to brokered convention, or open convention. So I heard from one of my favorite Gen Z influencers or communicators, Olivia, can't remember her last name, but Olivia, about, and I think I heard this somewhere else too, about a brokered convention. And the last time that it happened for the Democratic Party was in 1968, when Lyndon B. Johnson had, he had, chosen not to seek re-election for a whole various reasons, apparently in March. And the Democratic Party had an open convention, and I think from a different influencer, probably, or maybe the same video, I'm not sure, that was chaos and confusion, because nobody could really come together and decide on who. And I honestly believe that history would repeat itself. We are this is a divided moment. And it is better to unite behind Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, what the ticket that we have developed with that has been developed with a strong case for a good administration and a good presidency, you know. despite the fact that he may not be the greatest communicator, which I could relate to because I'm not the greatest communicator either. It takes work. I don't know. I don't know how he does it. I mean, to stand in front of all those people. And it's nothing to do with age. I've seen younger people be horrible communicators as well. And not that Joe Biden is a horrible communicator. I've understand that people get tired. I've understand that when we're tired, we're not at our best. And it has nothing to do with age. You know what I mean? And that is just, how do I say? That is just nitpicking, because he has done a very, very good job as president, has not proven that he cannot handle it because he's in his 80s. You know, this is a time for us, a moment of learning. We need to learn. We need to learn. We need to understand that this moment is not about us choosing a performer or choosing to be entertained. Then we need to get over ourselves, and we need to humble ourselves and get out of our ego, get out of our heads, get out of the way how we see people and the world that we have created in our heads of the standard that people are supposed to live up to. The media is failing us. Corporate media and mainstream media is failing us, willfully failing us. They're doing it on purpose. They have been doing it on purpose the whole time. And like I've said in previous videos, now they have decided to fully endorse Donald Trump without actually saying the words. They're endorsing Donald Trump with their actions. The Supreme Court decision for absolute immunity has not been brought back up. Barely. Project 2025, Agenda 47, the fact that Donald Trump hasn't done any events in 11 days, and then he just had this, one of his ridiculous rallies where he is, the things that he says does not make him sound like an intelligent person. It makes him sound like an angry, hateful, a real life person that's actually real life, dealing with real life dementia as opposed to being tired. There's two different things. You know what I mean? And one of the things that you got to understand from me when I say what I say is that I am obsessively paying attention to the point that I almost kind of hurting myself sometimes. I need to, because I don't know how sometimes to look away, because I believe that this is a fight for our lives, and it's hard to look away when you're fighting for your life. I'm fighting for my life and my future, and it is very frustrating that I don't know how other people do it when they manage to just live their lives comfortably and not feel the heat and the danger of this moment. And I'm not asking you to panic. That's why I wish I had a bigger platform. I wish I had done better somehow to have build a platform where I can be heard and my opinion respected and my opinion appreciated, because I would tell you to not be afraid, to not panic, just do the work. Just do what it is that you feel called to do. If it is just going out to lunch with a friend and having a conversation about politics, you know what I mean, and not being afraid. Talk to them about Joe Biden. Talk to them about the accomplishments of this administration. Talk to them about the economy. I don't know how you're going to do it. I'm just saying, do whatever it is that you could think up to do to reach out to your community. And I feel like that's another one of the lessons of our time, of our moment, is reaching out to your community, learning to get back to community, and not relying on mainstream media to do all the talking, corporate media to do all the talking, because again, they're not for us, they're not with us, they don't care about us. And the people that work for them, for the most part, for some reason, are comfortable. They're comfortable. They think they're going to be all right. Or whatever. I can't put myself in other people's minds. I don't know what they're thinking. But did I get off track? Let us try this again. The brokered convention, the last time it happened was in 1968. And I went on Wikipedia to try to understand it better, and I realized that I'm going to have to do more reading to really get it, because it sounded like a really complicated moment. It was a time with the Vietnam War, and I guess it's similar to this moment where a lot of people were protesting, just like how a lot of people are protesting about Palestine, and and our government sending money to Israel. Again, that's complicated stuff. But I'm just gonna say that, in my opinion, again, the outcome for Palestine is going to be way worse under a Republican administration, Republican power, Republican Supreme Court, Republican government. It's going to be worse. It's not only going to be worse for Palestine, it's going to be worse for Americans and the entire world. You have a chance with Joe Biden to move things in the direction that you want. You could protest. Protesting under a Donald Trump government is going to be downright dangerous. So the main point that I wanted to say is, at that time, Richard Nixon, after that convention, and after that the divided DNC convention, Richard Nixon won the election. The Democrats did not win that year. So I don't understand why that is not something that comes up in these conversations where mainstream media is concerned. So I could go on and go on forever because I have a lot to say. I'm gonna try to say the whole thing so that I can have a clip where I put all those words together. What I've learned is, in 1968 was the last time that they had a brokered convention, because Lyndon B. Johnson declined, or whatever the word is, to seek re-election. And after that, the Democrats lost that election. And we have Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon won that election. And I have to do more research and more understanding to understand what has happened in the past, to learn more about these things. But I'm just saying, that's something that should come up in conversation as well, because it is not that simple. Use your common sense. It's not that simple. It would be a huge mistake for Joe Biden to step aside. And I keep constantly saying that I pray that he would be defiant and ignore these people until they shut up, until they shut the F up, because we're listening to the wrong people. They're listening to the wrong people. Thank you for listening. Blessings. Peace.